have Mr. Underwood via Zoom. We have Chief Gold via Zoom. Robin Parks via Zoom. We have Jackie Abeda helping us on the recording because Jeffrey is out today. And I'm going to take a roll call. Chairman Scott?
Present.
Police Chief Gold?
Present.
Joe Kasuboski?
Present.
Fire Chief Thetford?
Present.
Counselor Letterman?
Present.
Counselor Romero?
Present.
And Assistant Fire Chief Ellard is on his way. Okay, you may be.
We have a quorum?
We have a quorum.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So let's call to order the Village of Ruidoso, City of Ruidoso Downs Consolidated Dispatch Joint Special Meeting. First off, I'd like to begin by congratulating Chief Chavez on his new position. Congratulations, sir. Look forward to working with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have you met Darrell?
This is the Deputy Chief, Dyron Hill. He comes to us from Texas. He was just
Congratulations, sir.
named this morning
Good to
also.
see you. So this meeting is called on short notice, and I apologize, but we needed to get it in so that it could be put on agendas for councils. The reason for this was discussion and possible action on approval of grant agreement between the Village of Ruidoso and the State of New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration Local Government Division on Enhanced 911 Act grant program for project number 20-E-57 for the Public Safety Answering Points PSAP at the Village of Ruidoso and Mescalero Apache Reservation areas and E911 related reimbursements. So I think we'll begin by, I'll ask Chief Chavez to kind of give an overview. He has a broad understanding of what this is and why we're here, so.
Okay. So this came to effect. It was something that the village has always just put on the agenda. It gets approved and we send it to DFA. I know now that last year that's the same way that we did it, but we didn't have a consolidated dispatch board formed. This year, it was right on the heels of getting submitted that exact same way, but thank goodness Chief Gold caught it and we presented it, and after the discussion, we needed to bring it before the Consolidated Dispatch Board. So what it means is there was some questions that were raised. If everybody can flip to the last page, Exhibit C, Expenditure Budget. The questions that were raised is why are we getting $490,000, and why are we, is it split up between 6 and 3? There was numerous questions on the capital, and those types of things. So what it is that for years, the Ruidoso Police Department has been, or the Village of Ruidoso has been the fiscal agent for Mescalero. And the reason being is that the state, we've already discussed the topography of Lincoln County and why there are 2 PSAPs within Lincoln County. And it's solely because of the topography up here. So there's one in Carrizozo held by the Lincoln County Sheriff's Office, and then there's one in Ruidoso. Mescalero, they are a PSAP. We don't operate the way that we did with the Downs before, to where the Downs would give us, would compensate us for running all their 911 calls and transferring to the Downs. Mescalero gets probably 99% of their calls to their station. Every now and then, whenever something bounces off the wrong tower, it'll come to the Ruidoso Police Department. We'll pick it up and then transfer it over. That doesn't happen too often. So the question is, how come they're not underneath how come we're the fiscal agent and another agent in Otero County is not, because they are in a different county? The reason for it is that Otero County has been mandated by DFA to become consolidated. So with that, their powers that be have not gone into the consolidation. So they don't get no funding from DFA. So their dispatch centers are independently ran and independently funded by their councils and their stakeholders, their elected officials. So Mescalero, on the other hand, they didn't have a choice in it. So being that we are the closest PSAP is why we get this for them, and we're the fiscal agent for the grant. They, through the years, whenever they request training and those types of things that's covered or reimbursed by DFA, they submit the paperwork to the Ruidoso Police Department, and then from there, Katie will send the reimbursements back up to DFA and get those things, get those charges picked up by them. So with the 6 positions that Ruidoso has requested, that is to be able to move into the Horton complex whenever the consolidation, whenever we move here to this building. Mescalero has asked for, they had 2, they asked for 1 more spot, so that's where their that's why they're asking for 3 positions. The budgeted amount of the $815,000 will cover and satisfy those requests for both agencies, and that is where the questions were being raised, and that's the kind of synopsis of it. Does anybody have any questions or anything?
Having no questions, do we want?
John.
John, I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
Except for John. Just kidding.
Should have known John was going to have to talk, so.
No, I'm just curious, 2 things. Does that mean that 6/9 of this budget belongs to the consolidated dispatch, or how is that to be split up between the 2 groups?
Okay, on the breakdown of it, if you look at the top portion where the generator, because I know they're asking for a generator, we're asking for a generator, and then the cost will also cover the move from the current PD here. So it'll be split, John. The recording systems and the dispatch software will be covered for both. And okay, so then underneath the training, and I wish Katie was here, but I believe that the training is set per dispatcher. If you look down further, and they give each entity a certain percentage based off of their how many dispatchers they're budgeted for.
Okay, I guess maybe to narrow it down a bit, when this comes in, we got an agreement with Ms. Laurel, what is theirs or what is ours, or separate requests that we're going to be able to identify?
So the way it's identified is the Department of Finance, they come down, they do the total installation, they give them the equipment, they keep Okay, I thought that was coming in on the radio. But so what happens is once DFA comes down and they do the installations, at that point we will gather the inventory of the things that they install down there.
And John, as far as the training funds, there's a formula similar to the LEPF that I'm sure you're familiar with, and the fire does the same. There's a formula based upon allocated positions, and an amount is given per allocated position. And so it'll simply be a percentage of that total number goes to Mescalero, and the remainder stays with us.
So my issue is, what position?
It's already funded. It's a prefigured amount that they give per employee, per budgeted position.
Right, I was just wondering if we knew that. If we know what. If we know, of the $815,000, what portion of that is ours, or is, I'm always worried about surprises at the end of when we have a sharing agreement, so.
Mr. Chair, if I may interject?
Yes, sir. You have the floor.
Yes, I have it broke down in my office, and I apologize that I was unable to make the meeting today, but it looks like the percentage, they're gonna get a little bit more, and don't quote me on this, but I wanna say it's like 60-40, that they're gonna get more of the 815 on this particular one. The last one, I think we got the most of it, but of course it doesn't exchange hands, it goes directly, so they get a little bit more than what we did because they're requesting a little bit. I don't know if that answers your question, John?
It does. Thank you very much. That's what I was trying to get to. And if it's broken down somewhere, it'll probably get rid of, avoid misunderstandings.
It's broken down, and I didn't bring a copy of it. I'm so sorry for interjecting. I didn't break it down.
I'm just trying to avoid a problem at the end of the situation and so that we all know who's on first. And then the other question I have, based upon the last meeting we had of Consolidated Dispatch, is that there's some discussion of alternate sites besides the Horton complex. And so I'm just wondering if this funding is all conditioned upon it going to the Horton complex, and if it doesn't end up at the Horton complex because of the sheriff's department coming in, how is that affected, Chief?
Okay, the way I'm understanding, and Chief Lawrence now, I'm not gonna call him lieutenant anymore, he's gonna be our chief starting tomorrow. It is, the way it's gonna go is we're gonna continue, the mayor and council of the village of Ruidoso have indicated that we're gonna continue moving forward with the position that we have already taken. We'll continue moving forward until we hear words from Sheriff Wood and the others on how we're able to actually, because I guess there's going to be some bond issues and gross receipts tax, they're going to have to be negotiated into all of that so that we can actually change the plan. It would be great. Ultimate goal, I think, from the mayor and the city manager is that we want the ultimate goal to be a county-wide dispatch center. That's, I think everybody's in that direction. It's just, in order for us not to go backwards, we need to continue doing what we were doing because the decision was made already years prior to me being here. I think Chief Chavez was involved in that decision. The decision was to move forward. So at this point, the decision we're going to make is just to continue moving forward until things change in the future. And when that does change and when Sheriff Wood does bring to our attention that he's put it before the county board and they made a decision to submit a bond out there and take out gross receipts tax from taxpayers and move in that direction, things could change at that point. But for today, we're going to continue moving as planned.
Okay.
Does that?
Yes, sir. And I think that's wise because if you ever pause, so far as DFA is concerned, you can wipe out a lot of potential funding. So moving forward is a good idea. Just one other question to divert, to go in the direction that you were talking about. When we had our last meeting, we suggested that the sheriff get with the Board of County Commissioners to discuss the funding issues because otherwise we were just banging our gums together for nothing. So do you know if that discussion has taken place? Your indication of there being necessity of bonds or gross receipts taxes would indicate to me that there has been some discussion, but I'm just wondering if you know anything more.
John, at this point, we don't truly know much more. I've spoken with the sheriff, and he's in the process of communicating with the county commissioner. So we don't have anything solid moving forward at this point, but I'll stay in communication with him, and when we have something to bring forward, we'll invite him back.
Okay. Thank you all very much.
Any further questions or discussion? So I would stand for a shoot, mine went blank.
A motion to approve
thank
the
you.
agreement
A motion
presented.
to accept this agreement.
I'd make a motion to approve of grant agreement between the Village of Ruidoso and the State of New Mexico Department of Finance and Administration, Local Government Division, Enhanced 911 Act Grant Program for project number 20-E-57 for the Public Safety Answering Points, PSAP, at the Village of Ruidoso and Mescalero Apache Reservation areas and E-911 related reimbursements.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Get a roll call.
Yes, sir. Chief Thetford,
Aye.
Counselor Romero,
Aye.
Chairman Scott,
Aye.
Police Chief Gold,
Yes.
Joe Kasubaski,
Aye.
Counselor Letterman,
Aye.
and Assistant Fire Chief Ellard.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Motion carries. If we have nothing further, I'll ask for a motion.
Chief.
Yes, sir. Chief Gold.
Did we retro the first two 424 that did not come? Did we put them both together in that motion? I apologize, I didn't hear that.
I don't believe so, but my understanding was we had not formed at the point in which it was presented last year, so I don't know that we
Okay.
need to.
Okay, just, I didn't know if that's going to be a requirement by DFA because we're the actual PSAP board. So I think the clause is that I guess now that we're aware of the, what was it, 245, 225 or something like that?
Something like that, yes, sir.
I guess we better, if we can make a note of that, to just let them know that, we weren't actually formed at that particular time. But now we're aware that I think we've only received 2 checks from DFA, and the first one was 45 or 25, and then now the 815. So just to make a note of that to see if they require us to bring it in and retro it or something.
So noted.
Thank you.
One other thing, before we adjourn, I was going to ask Lawrence, now that he's going to be named chief, are we going to have to bow, curtsy, or salute?
Whichever you decide, sir, that'll be fine.
Congratulations, Lawrence.
I think a curtsy from you, sir. Okay, so I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
And the motion's not. Okay.
Do you need to ask everybody?
There's not a necessary, there's no necessary to a motion to adjourn. It's not necessary.
Thank you all. Have a good day. Chief, congratulations. Dyron, congratulations. We'll see you all tomorrow.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Gary. Thanks,
you.
John.
You're welcome, Susan.
Boss.